I've been through a lot of cars, all right? There was a period where I was getting a different vehicle like every 6 months. I swear I was changing cars more than I was changing my underwear. So I've had to deal with a lot of the Facebook Marketplace bullshit. What did you ask? Let me refresh you. Hey, is the car still available? Yeah, I just posted it 30 minutes ago. It's available. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, and if you've been on Marketplace, you already know, maybe you're even that person. If you are, fuck you. Anyway, this is a video to help with the buying process because it can be a little intimidating if it's your first few times dealing with it, so make sure to hang around until the end to get my best tip that I got. But getting into it, know your budget and be willing to travel. Chances are the deal of the century, it's not 10 minutes from your house, but I'll tell you what, deals are out there. You just need to be on the hunt. Decide what you're willing to spend on a vehicle and factor in the travel for it. Will it require a buddy to give you a ride and maybe throw some gas money their way? Or is it a plane ticket and you drive it all the way back? Both won't add that much more money to your total cost and can significantly change the type of vehicle that you can get. This is super important in the Midwest because all of our vehicles here are piles of rust that are dying slow deaths, and they're the last thing in the world you would want to deal with. But even if you live in the nice, warmer climate without car eating salt, it's still good to look around even in other states to find that one car that you're searching for. Now that leads into another topic. If you're going to be looking for a car that's out of state, we're not trying to waste our damn time. Time is Make sure you know as much as possible about that vehicle beforehand. Ask for photos of specific things, ask for video walkarounds. It's 2022, baby. FaceTime that bitch and get to know them. If you're dropping a good amount of cash, you absolutely deserve to know the details and you better not feel bad about it. Keep that confidence, king, you know what I'm saying? People aren't always going to be honest with you either, unfortunately. The more info you know about the car going into it, the better. Or maybe you have a buddy that has owned one before. That's top notch, bring him with, he'll know what to look for. Maybe it's a girl, I don't know. Another thing that's one of my favorites and probably has been the most successful for me is the good old gut check. Usually you can tell when something is up. A couple red flags that can help influence the gut check are the photos. Did they upload 2 pictures, one from a mile away and then one of the steering wheel and that's it? Yeah, there's probably a good chance why they only uploaded 2 photos. Also in the photos, look for things like cleanliness. No, it's not just to make fun of them. If someone doesn't give a fuck enough to take their gas station food garbage out of the photo, they probably don't give a fuck enough to change the oil on the car. Also, take a look at the description of the vehicle. You know, if they're writing 2 lines and that's it, or it's a car asking this much, that's a red flag. They should have all the info on there. Make sure it has a clean title, how many miles are on it, etc. And again, if that info isn't there, ask them. Also, speaking of titles, I couldn't wait to get to this part. It is okay if the car has a lien on it. If someone has a loan on their car and you want to buy it, that is not a bad thing. I've dealt with so many people that for some dumb reason see a lien or a loan and they just get scared. Bro, you just have to deal with the transaction at the bank, the safest spot to be transferring money that you can go to. I have bought and sold so many vehicles with loans on them and it never once has been an issue. Banks know how to handle this. It's extremely normal. Don't let that get in the way of you buying a car. Now, if the car is salvaged, well, that's a different story. There is some things to look out for on the title. But sometimes a car can still be clean title, even if it was in a terrible accident and destroyed. So it's definitely worth doing a little VIN number research before committing. Type it into Google, look it up on Carfax, do what you can. But again, that doesn't always tell all. It's not the whole story. So do a thorough inspection beforehand. It's super important. And if you're not mechanically inclined, that's perfectly fine. Ask the seller if it's cool. You meet up at a shop and then pay that shop to do an inspection on it. It's not too much money, and anybody with a solid car is not going to have a problem with you doing that at all. But please look at it in the daylight. I only say this because this one bit me in the ass one time, all right? Cars can look completely different in the day versus the night, and it's easy to schedule a meetup in the evening because, well, we all have busy lives and we get off work, then we gotta eat, and the next thing you know, you're driving 3 hours to look at a car in a thunderstorm at 10 p.m. I bought it, and then literally at the next gas station, I poked my finger through the frame. That one still hurts. Anyway, that's a story for another time. In the daylight, you'll be able to see if the car has dents, dings, bad paint, panels with different paint. I think you're starting to get the idea. Don't be afraid to negotiate. I thought everyone knew this, but I have some friends that literally pay asking price for everything. Everyone has a little bit of wiggle room, and there's ways to go about it without being disrespectful.
So you're asking 10,000 bucks?
Yep.
So will you take 1,000?
Nope. If you come with knowledge, facts, and maybe even drop, well, the car is nice, but I'm going to need to get some wheels, tires, and suspension from Fitment Industries because the tires are bald, your wheels are curved, and the suspension's blown out. So, did you take 8 grand? Finding a price that's fair to you and fair to the seller is key. So don't just go in and lowball it.
Will you take 1,000?
Works 1% of the time. Come with the reason why you're offering what you're offering and be willing to go back and forth a little bit. It's got to be a fair deal for everyone involved. But you'll be surprised the deals you can make just by simply being respectful. All right, one of the last ones, and maybe one of the most important, is don't get attached. And this is hard, but you need to be able to 100% walk away from the vehicle if you can't get the price you want, or you go check it out and it's not what you thought. Now, I know you already watched videos of the car.
Today's episode of So You Won't, we are talking about the one, the only.
You already thought in your head how you're gonna start modding it. I know you've envisioned yourself driving it down that curvy road and hearing the blow-off valve go off, but guess what? You just need to take some time to inspect it, check it out, and if it's not what it is, get the hell out of there. We recently ran into this when we were going to go buy a Honda Civic for the channel, and this thing sounded like the holy grail of Honda Civics until we met in person. Gels was so committed to this car because of the amount of time we spent getting to the point of meeting with this dude that he wanted to take the car pretty much no matter what was wrong with it, no matter if it had a million issues, no matter if the oil cap was literally off of the valve cover when he showed up. I had to reel him back in a bit and say, it's okay to walk away. Seriously, I want you to remember this when you go look at a vehicle and think, man, would Dakota want me to buy this car or would he want me to walk away? Until that title is signed and the money is handed over, you're not obligated to take that car at all. If you get there and take it for a test drive and something feels off, walk away. Go back home and stay on the hunt. Now you have something to compare the next one you look at too. But what's some of your best advice for looking at cars? Comment down below so we can have a bunch of car enthusiasts helping each other out so we don't get scammed or buy a car that we immediately need to get rid of. And when you finally score that sweet deal, don't forget to head on over to fitmentindustries.com to snag some wheels, tires, and suspension. Peace.